Ah, the Asian Festival, a celebration of all things Asian. So if you're a long-time subscriber, you know I used to do vlogs, and two of those vlogs included Asian Festival 2018 and Asian Festival 2019. So this video is going to be about Asian Festival 2020 here in San Antonio, Texas. This is going to be my third year going to the Asian Festival, and if you've never heard of the Asian Festival or if you've never been to one before and you want to know what it's about, so in today's video I'm going to just break it down for all y'all who hasn't gone, and I guess be memories for those who did go. So the Asian Festival here in San Antonio is held downtown at the Institute of Texan Cultures, and they usually have it during the beginning of the year around Chinese New Year. The dates have changed every single year we've gone, but generally it's around Chinese New Year. So there are two ways to buy Asian Festival tickets. The first one being online, and personally that's my choice of buying the tickets because you get it at a little bit of a discount compared to the door, and yeah, like I said just now, the second one is going to be at the door. So once you've arrived at the festival, there are two major things that you can look out for while you're there. So those two things being performances and vendors. And vendors is further split into two other categories, food and just things. So like I just said, the festival takes place at the UTSA Institute of Texan Cultures. So not only is it just like a nice big area where they have a bunch of vendors, but they also have a museum there. So the museum is completely free. As soon as you enter in the main gates of where the Asian Festival is, there's like some sliding doors that go a little bit more in, and that's pretty much where the museum is. You can go walk around, and there's like little booths and little places that you can check out while you're there. And it's also where one of the three performance stages are at the festival. So with one of the performance stages being inside the museum, outside the museum there are two more performance stages, and that's where most of the action is happening. So there's one performance stage on the outside on the east patio. So there's actually two entrances to the Asian Festival. If you went to the opposite side of the Asian Festival, there's another entrance, and right around that area is called Back 40. I am not sure why it's called Back 40, but it's called Back 40. And that stage is mostly for like martial arts, and when we went there we saw like a sumo wrestling performance or competition or whatever. That was pretty cool. So the performances are really cool because you get to see each culture's special way of expressing their dance, and it's really cool to see all of it on one stage, or three stages in this case. So the second thing you can look for at the Asian Festival are the vendors. So it's split into two categories, just things, and then the other half being food. That's personally what I'm interested in, the food. So if you take a look at the map of the Asian Festival, the museum is kind of surrounded by these verandas. So on the veranda there's just like little booths where people are just selling things like little trinkets and things here and there from the different cultures, and it's really cool to see all these different cultures represented there. But that's not only where they're contained to. If you walk throughout the grounds, there's a whole bunch of other stuff there that you can buy and take home with you. But once you buy a couple souvenirs for yourself, the next thing you want to try, and what I would recommend spending your money on, is all the food. So a quick note on the food, you don't actually pay with cash when you're buying this food. You pay with tickets, and each ticket is equivalent to $1. So if you want to buy 10 tickets, that'll cost you $10. And the food there ranges from 1 to 12 tickets. So at most you probably need about 20 tickets if you want to try like a decent amount of food. But what I suggest that you guys do is buy 10 to 20 tickets depending on how many people are with you, but then use those 20 tickets and just walk around the whole area, because the food isn't contained in just one area. It's kind of just spread out everywhere, but they have very specific sections where they are. It's just spread out. But take a look around, see what you like, see if there's anything interesting that you would like to try out, and just don't be afraid to try new foods, because for a lot of people this may be the first time they're trying Filipino food or Chinese food or just any food that's there represented at the Asian Festival. And what's really cool about all the vendors that are selling food there is that for the most part all of them have their own permanent stores somewhere around the city. What I would suggest that you do is that when you find a food that you like, maybe take down the name or the address or whatever, and then just go to that restaurant that you really liked and then try out a bunch of other food, because that's just the best and more money efficient way to do it. So instead of dropping like $30 on food when you can actually go to the restaurant and spend like half off of that, that's just, you know, a better way to save money, but at the same time, enjoy your time there at the Asian Festival. So my personal recommendation for food there at the Asian Festival is this little booth. It's called Mustafa Grocery. They have this really good like chicken roll. I think that's what it's called. It's a really good chicken roll, and we pretty much been eating that for 3 years straight. And I actually, like, for the past 2 years, I recorded myself eating it and kind of like promoting their food there. And this year, they actually recognized me. This is just a personal shout out to them. They make some really good, like, I think it's called chicken rolls, but really good food, and you should definitely try out their food. It's called Mustafa Grocery, yeah. And if you go, just let them know that the guy from YouTube sent you. So if I had to tell you what to expect from the Asian Festival, just expect to be trying brand new foods, seeing brand new cultural dances and how different cultures celebrate certain things. And maybe even if you pick up something from like one of the vendors around, you might even go home with something from another country. So that's pretty cool. So definitely, if you're in San Antonio around the beginning of the year, or if you live in San Antonio and you're just wondering what the Asian Festival is about, definitely check it out. It's a pretty fun time. Go with your family, go with some friends, and just like have a good time. I think this year had the most amount of people I've ever seen there. Past 2 years, it's always landed on a day where it's like 30-40 degrees. But this year, it was actually a very comfortable temperature. In the morning, it was kind of cold, but then later on in the day, around noon, it was probably already in the 80s, 90s. And that just brought in a whole bunch of people. Just leaving the festival, it took us a while because we were just like squirming our way through the crowd and just trying to get out, trying to go home. So leave a comment below if you were there at the Asian Festival this year, or there in previous years, or you're gonna go next year. I'd love to see you guys there next year if I do go. So it's been a while since I did a vlog type of video, and speaking of vlogs, if you're interested in watching Japan vlogs, me, my siblings, and my cousin went to Japan last year, and I have the entire series on this channel. So if you want to check a card or in the link in the description, it'll be there, and you know, just watch our vlogs. It's pretty fun. I'll see you guys next week.